This is the Wellness Club, where we dive into all things wellness, from nutrition to fitness to productivity and more. We are exploring the science to help you feel your best inside and out. I'm your host, Cass Camp, and I am so happy that you're here. Welcome to the club. Oh my gosh. Hi guys. It has been so long since we've talked on the podcast and I have missed it so much. I'm so happy to be back on the podcast, not sick. If you didn't see the Instagram, I was sick last week, which is why I didn't post an episode. And then the week before was obviously the holidays. So it's been a while. I feel like I have so much to catch you up on. So much has happened and I'm really happy to be on here. I know it feels like the holidays were forever ago, but I hope you had a great holiday, great new year. I know I did. I spent a lot of time with my family, friends, just chilling, but also had a lot of transformations happen, which we'll talk about in a couple minutes. If I sound a little bit different, it's because Santa got me a Shure microphone, which is what the experts use, and it's definitely making me feel very legit. It's very nice. It's editing out everything that I used to spend every little minute editing. I would hand edit out cars driving by, little noises that I would make, and this microphone magically does it for me. So the podcast is going to be way better now, and I'm very happy about it. I'm feeling very legit, so it's very nice to have that. I had a really nice holiday break. I had that whole Christmas week off of work, and it was truly so nice. First, just spending time with family, spending time with friends, slowing down, relaxing. But then the day after Christmas, me and my mom took a trip to Florida and we stayed for 5 days. It was truly one of the best trips ever. It was so impactful and transformational, honestly. I came out of that trip with different perspectives on my career and this brand and the Wellness Club, and also just my own personal mental health and my view on my life and everything like that. It was truly just so nice. It's because we actually did all these really nice wellness things. So I feel like normally when you go on a trip, you're going out to eat a lot, you're getting alcohol most of the time, you're doing all these things every single day that when you leave, you're so excited to get back into your routine. At least that's how I am. I'll go on these trips and it'll be fun and it'll be exciting. But as soon as it's done, I can't wait to get back into my normal pace of life. And this trip was the complete opposite of that. Me and my mom were not playing around. When we were at the airport waiting for our flight, we both took out our little journals, our Wellness Club journals that we didn't even know we both brought. And we made a goals list for the weekend. And we put how we want to feel that entire weekend, from walking every day, which we did. We went on all these nice outdoor walks. We wanted to go to our favorite restaurant. We wanted to cook meals at home. And we really wanted to move the needle on a project that we've been wanting to do for a while that we're finally going to do. And I cannot wait to tell you guys about it. I'm going to tell you next week. I just can't hold it in, but I can't tell you right now. And it sucks because I've always hated when podcasters and my favorite people that I follow would be like, big things coming, but I can't tell you yet. And I would always be like, why are you even saying anything if you can't say anything? Just tell us, you know what I mean? But now I'm in that position and I understand why, because I can't tell you until next week. But once it comes out, it's going to be so awesome. And I am so excited for it. And I'll just give you a little hint. It's something that I've been talking about that I want to do, that I'm finally doing. When I was in Florida with my mom, I had this breakthrough moment of, I'm just sick of my own shit. I'm sick of saying I'm going to do things and not actually do them. I'm sick of saying I want these things, but then when I actually get the opportunity, I make excuses. I don't hold myself accountable. I let fear stop me. I let doubt stop me. And I'm tired of that. I was just so tired of that. And part of that is because 2025 was coming up. I don't want to spend another year saying things and not doing them. I'm sounding hard on myself because, of course, I've accomplished things and I'm proud of myself. But there's also things that I could very well be doing right now. And I know I was holding myself back. And I'm sure you have some goal in your head that you've been wanting to do that fear is stopping you from doing. I'm here to tell you, you need to just take the first step and you will figure everything else out. Because when I was in Florida with my mom, that's exactly what we did. We already had all the planning pretty much done, because that's what we do naturally. Is when you have something you want to do, you plan. You learn about it as much as you can. You write about it, you talk about it, you put it on the vision board, but you don't actually do it. And that's where I was. I was stuck in that. And I finally said, I'm tired of being stuck in this. I'm going to make a choice. I'm going to make a decision to actually move the needle. And that's exactly what I did. And sometimes that needs to be a financial investment. Sometimes that needs to be some other kind of investment to force you to figure it out. Because once you make that choice and make that decision, you always figure it out. You have no choice but to figure it out, but you have to put yourself in that position. One of my favorite quotes ever is leap and the net will appear. You have to take the jump. It doesn't matter how amazing your net is if you never make that jump. For 2025, I'm making leaps. I'm making jumps. I'm tired of putting things on the vision board, talking about it, thinking about it, dreaming about it. I'm just going to start jumping for it and reaching for it. And I know that things will figure themselves out how they're meant to, maybe in a brilliant way, the way that I'm imagining, but also maybe in a different way that I wasn't necessarily expecting, but still was important for my future. A lot of times we think about impulsiveness as a negative trait. It has a negative connotation. It sounds reckless. It sounds immature. It sounds like you don't have anything planned out. And for so long, that was my belief on being impulsive. When I would think about impulsive people, I would judge them. I would think about how horrible that is. How can you not make a plan? I mean, I am someone that I have 3 different planners. I'm constantly writing lists. I'm constantly planning, type A personality. And growing up, I never wanted to be an impulsive person. I always wanted to be someone that had a plan, that had things figured out. But when I actually look at my life and I look at the things that I've done that I'm the most proud of, every single one of them had some impulsive decision that I made that put me there. And when I say impulsive, it's not always reckless or immature or stupid. It's just something that involved a risk. It's something that maybe I didn't have everything figured out. I wasn't fully prepared and I did it anyway. Every single big moment in my life, that's what had to happen for me to get there. Because once you do that, once you make that jump, once you take that leap, you feel so proud of yourself and you feel unstoppable because you're doing something that you're not fully prepared for. I think one of the best parts about impulsive, bold decisions is that you don't have time to overthink it. You don't have time to doubt yourself. You just do it. And some of the most successful entrepreneurs that I know personally and famous ones that I've listened to on podcasts, they make impulsive decisions. They make quick decisions that they don't necessarily have figured out, but they know that they will figure it out eventually. And that also comes down to trusting in yourself and believing in yourself. That's the second part of it. If you make these impulsive decisions and you trust yourself, that's a foolproof plan. You're going to figure it out. Men are statistically more likely to take risks and be impulsive because of their nature. It makes sense. When you think about hunter-gatherers, the men were the ones hunting and being out there looking for the lion, looking for the animal, trying to bring food home, while the women had to stay protected. They had to stay with the community. They had to stay safe. And it makes sense back then to have these risk-taking capabilities mainly in men, but we don't live in that time anymore. And I do believe that men and women have certain traits that make us better and worse. And I love being a woman. I love every quality of being feminine and being a woman. But I do want to adapt more risk-taking into my life because what's the worst that could happen? I'm a little bit embarrassed. It doesn't go my way, right? What's the worst that could happen? Lately, one of the things I've been saying to myself is, what's the best that could happen? Rather than thinking about all the risks and all the consequences and all the punishment and all the things that could happen, I'm thinking about what's the best that could happen? If this actually goes my way, how is this going to play out? And that is way more exciting and way more freeing to think about than all the negatives that could happen. Because let's be honest, negatives could happen anytime, anywhere, any place, even if you have every plan in place. You could plan, and things still might not go your way because that's just how life is. That's literally how it is. I have a whole episode on that. And everything I'm saying to you is not new information. I've heard this stuff before on other podcasts and people that I've talked to and mentors and everything like that. It's pretty simple advice. But this really hit home to me when I was on that trip in Florida, thinking about my future and realizing that nothing is going to change if I don't do something different. My life will never be different if I'm doing the same routines, the same friend groups, the same everything. If everything's the same, it's going to stay the same. At some point, you have to step out of your comfort zone and do something different if you want different things in your life. And I don't know, I've heard this so many times before, but it really just resonated with me. in the past few weeks, and it's stuck with me. It didn't just fleet away when I came back to New Jersey. It actually stayed with me even harder. And I've been doing things out of my comfort zone, and I've been pushing myself, and it feels really good because that's the secret no one tells you. Once you start doing it, it's kind of addicting. You feel unstoppable, and it builds this momentum that you didn't have before. If you're feeling like you're in this mundane routine in your life and you're doing the same things every day, the second you do something different, you are going to feel so much better and so empowered in your life. I can promise you. Working on this little project that I'll share with you next week that I keep alluding to has really just lit this fire back in me and makes me excited about every day. And I'm excited to work on it because it is something new. It's something that I'm not fully comfortable with yet, but it's something that I know I can figure out and something I know that I can do. And that is what's really exciting to me. And you have something like that in your life too, I'm sure of it. Maybe you want to start a podcast. Maybe you want to start a wellness routine that you're actually going to stick to. Maybe you want new friendships. Maybe you want to find a boyfriend. Any of these things, all of this can apply the same way. You need to take risks and make different choices to get there, especially ones that are going to make you a little bit uncomfortable. I saw this video on Instagram by, I think her name is M on the Brain on Instagram. She's a neuroscientist, and she posts these short little videos, and one of them was about imposter syndrome that really resonated with me. She said, if you're having imposter syndrome, you are exactly where you are meant to be. And I've heard that before, but then she went into detail and compared it to a video game. She was like, if you are just starting a video game, you start at level 1 and you don't know the game yet. It's your first time playing. So you play, you figure out level 1. Once you figure that out, you move on to level 2. You don't know level 2. You don't know the layout. You don't know how to play, but you get better. And then you move to level 3 and then 4. And every single time you're at this new level, you don't have it figured out. You don't know the tools. You don't know the tricks. But once you figure it out, now it's time to move on. If you just played level 1 over and over and over again, sure, you would be fantastic at it, but you would never actually move on or move forward to something bigger and better. And that's exactly how your life is. If you've been playing the same level over and over again and it feels easy, it's time for you to step into a level that you're not used to yet. And I really liked how she said that because it completely changed my perspective on imposter syndrome. Rather than feeling like, oh, I'm not good enough. Who do I think I am to be here? I'm out of place. I started thinking about it like, no, this is the next level and this is where I need to be. You don't need to complete the whole video game in one day or 1 year, but you can move up in levels incrementally, step by step with any goal that you have. Maybe your goal is to make new friends this year. First step, you don't have to just go up to someone and ask them to hang out. You could see them in a coffee shop and say, I like your shirt. Where'd you get it? Okay, next conversation. And get used to that and get good at that. Get used to talking to strangers. And then as that gets easy, now you move on. Now you say, oh, I've always been wanting to try that workout class. Maybe I'll go and see you there, right? It doesn't have to always be these big, huge night and day differences that you might see on social media or these transformations. It can be these little baby steps that incrementally take you out of your comfort zone. And let me tell you, every single time you do this just a little bit, your confidence and your trust in yourself will build every single time. You're going to feel so good about yourself and you're going to feel so empowered. And then it gets easier and easier. And now something that you used to be so nervous to do becomes second nature. If you put a bunch of stuff on your vision board or your bucket list for 2025 and you have all these dreams and all these plans, that's amazing. I love the vision boards. I love the manifesting. I really believe that that's the first step. But that's not enough, and that's not the final step. Once you do that, you do have to do things differently to actually make those things come true. You have to take different steps. You have to do different things, make different choices, and then you can actually see that whole plan that you've had unfold for real in front of your face. And this whole big realization that I'm sharing with you is something that I recently just discovered to this extent. I've always heard this stuff. I've always kind of like journaled about it and said it to myself, but I feel like it really hit me in the last few weeks. And it started with one impulse decision to make one of the things I've been saying actually come true. So there's my little rant on that. That has been such a monumental thing that's been in my journals and been in my head for the past few weeks. Then when I came back from Florida, it was New Year's Eve and I actually stayed in for New Year's. I got sushi takeout. I stayed in by myself. I had my journal. I worked on my project and I watched reality TV. Like I just had a very chill, easy night. I drank kombucha in a wine glass and had a great time by myself. And I honestly really loved it. That's been my energy lately. I've been doing dry January and I've been loving it. I've been staying in on the weekends. I've been doing different things, waking up early, going to workout classes, doing different things with my friends. And it's been really refreshing and really nice. I've done periods in the past of like dry January type things, but in other months, every single time I do it, I always love it. I always want to do it longer. I always say I should do it again. And it's just been really, really nice. I've talked about this before on the podcast. I have no problem with what anybody does in their free time, in their social time. I think that if you're in college or you're just having fun with your friends and you're in a period where you're drinking more, I don't think that that's necessarily a bad thing. I just know for me in my life right now, I am in a phase where I'm not really interested in that. For the past few months, every time that I would go out and have a drink, I just felt like either negative or I felt like it wasn't even something that I really wanted, but I was doing anyway. And that's how I knew it was time to just not do it. And it's been really nice and it's been really refreshing. And I think if you've never done a month without drinking, you should try it, even if it's not something you stick to. I just think it's really eye-opening and really refreshing to encourage you to do different things than maybe you normally do, rather than defaulting to going out to eat and getting drinks. You might do a new workout class. You might work on a side hustle with your friend. That's what I did this weekend. And it was so much fun. And I actually felt refreshed and awake and excited and just a different vibe. There's no denying that alcohol is bad for you. There's not really any benefits, but I do understand when you are in a social period of your life that you might want to have a margarita with your girls or get a glass of wine. And that's totally fine too. But I know for me right now, it's not something that I've been interested in doing. And it's been so nice focusing on my workouts and focusing on my nutrition and waking up early, focusing on my sleep, and just spending my time doing different things, even with my friends. You can definitely still socialize without drinking. I even went to a birthday dinner where everyone was ordering drinks and I just got club soda with lime. And I asked the server, can you put it in a cute glass? And he went above and beyond. He put lemons, he put oranges, he gave me a cute glass, cute straw, and it was perfect. And it satisfied the little need to have a cute drink. I enjoyed it. I had a great time. I felt great that night. I felt great the next morning. And it was a personal thing for me. I didn't care that the other people were drinking. I didn't care that I was the only one not drinking. It was just something that benefited me. And I think that that's really powerful. And if you're feeling similarly about going out and socializing or whatever, try going a month not drinking and see how it goes. You can still go out. You can still see your friends. You can still have fun. And it's a nice thing to do. I don't know how long it'll last. Every single time I do it, I always want to continue doing it because I feel so good. So we'll see. I don't really have any pressure or limit on myself. We'll see. Since the last time we talked on here, I've just been really focused on my overall wellness in every dimension, as I always am, but I feel like I've really spent a lot of time by myself to really get introspective and really look inward and start doing these things that I know are going to better me. And that feels really good. There is no better time than now to make that impulsive decision to start working on whatever side hustle or whatever goal that you've been saying that you want to do. I really encourage you to make one decision today that's actually going to move the needle forward and push you out of your comfort zone, because I promise you're going to feel so confident the entire week. You're going to feel so much better. It's just going to be a great thing and you're going to do whatever you set your mind to. Thank you so much for listening to this little catch up. I cannot wait for next week because there's some big things coming and I'm just so excited about it. So let's have a great week. Let's stay true to ourselves, focus on our wellness, get well, and I will talk to you next week. Make sure you're following the Instagram at the Wellness Club XO and me at Cast Camp so you can stay up to date because, like I said, things are changing, things are coming. And I've also been working very hard on making Instagram reels for you guys. So go follow them, go show them some love, and have a great week. I'll talk to you next week. Bye.